What if I told you that the deadliest war in American history wasn't fought against Britain, Germany, or even Japan, but against itself? Brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, and a nation torn in two. From 1861 to 1865, over 600,000 lives were lost in the American Civil War, a conflict that destroyed families, reshaped the nation, and ultimately ended slavery. But how did it come to this? And why did the United States nearly rip itself apart? The roots of the Civil War go back decades. From the country's founding, slavery had been a source of bitter division. The Southern economy thrived on enslaved labor, while the North, increasingly industrial, was moving away from it. Every new state added to the Union sparked fierce debate. Would it allow slavery or not? By the mid-1800s, tensions had reached a boiling point. In 1857, the infamous Dred Scott Supreme Court decision ruled that enslaved people were not citizens but property, enraging abolitionists. Then came the violent clashes in bleeding Kansas, where pro-slavery and anti-slavery settlers fought in the streets. And in 1860, the final spark: Abraham Lincoln was elected president. Though Lincoln initially pledged not to interfere with slavery where it already existed, the South saw him as a threat. One by one, 11 Southern states seceded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America. In April 1861, the Confederacy fired the first shots at Fort Sumter, South Carolina. The Union suddenly faced rebellion, and both sides rushed to mobilize. At first, many believed the war would be short, a few months at most, but the scale of the fighting quickly proved otherwise. The Union, led by President Lincoln, had advantages: a larger population, a stronger industrial base, and more railroads. But the Confederacy, under President Jefferson Davis, had skilled military leadership and the advantage of fighting on home soil. The war soon became a nightmare of violence. At the Battle of Antietam in 1862, more than 22,000 soldiers were killed or wounded in a single day, the bloodiest day in American history. At Gettysburg in 1863, over 50,000 casualties fell in just 3 days, a turning point that shifted the momentum toward the Union. Technology made the killing worse. Rifled muskets, ironclad ships, and trench warfare turned fields into slaughterhouses. Civilians weren't spared either. Towns were destroyed, families displaced, and the South's economy left in ruins. At first, the Union fought mainly to preserve the United States, but as the war dragged on, its meaning changed. In 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory were free. While it didn't immediately end slavery everywhere, it gave the war a higher purpose. Now it wasn't just about unity, it was about freedom. Enslaved men and women escaped plantations to join Union forces, with nearly 200,000 African American soldiers and sailors fighting for their own liberation. By 1864, Union General Ulysses S. Grant pressed relentlessly against Confederate forces, while General William Tecumseh Sherman marched through Georgia, destroying Southern infrastructure in his famous March to the Sea. Finally, in April 1865, Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. The war was over, the Union was preserved, and slavery was abolished with the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. But victory came at an unimaginable cost: more American deaths than in World War I and World War II combined. The Civil War was more than just a military struggle. It was a moral reckoning, a test of what the United States truly stood for. Out of the ashes came freedom for millions, but also wounds that have never fully healed. Even today, debates about states' rights, race, and national identity trace their roots back to this bloody conflict. The Civil War ended slavery, but it left America with a haunting question: can a nation so deeply divided truly become one?